Hello everyone, Counterspell Hater here, back with another EDH guide. Before we get into this EDH guide, please like and subscribe, comment on my videos. You can make an EDH request. First come, first serve with that stuff. So in the comments, make sure you get to it. Make haste, let no one get in front of you. If you want your EDH request, of course, that bad. And make sure the commander that you want to see featured on this channel has not already been featured on this channel in a video dedicated to that commander. But even if that is the case, you can make a request for a specific style of that deck that you would build for that commander, like Voltron or enchantments for a commander. If it would be that, if it would allow for that sort of flexibility, or the card, you could use the card in that way, just let me know. So like Ramos enchantments or Voltron or something like that. So just make an EDH. You can make an EDH request that way, or find a commander that is not featured on this channel already and make an EDH request for that one. It really depends on what you want to see featured on this channel, and like how I would point you into the direction, what direction I would point you in when building that commander. Whether or not you should go creature heavy. You get the idea. Because these videos are guides, not a must, which means the cards you have seen in my videos that I recommend for the commander featured in that episode is only a recommendation. Like I said, I recommend them. You don't have to have them. You can use some of the cards, none of the cards, all the cards, and that goes for all my videos, especially this one today. Although I highly recommend you use most of the cards I'm featuring. Although they may be a bit expensive. But hey, that's what the price you pay for having fun. So, and don't forget to hit the notification bell. That way you don't miss another one of the videos. If you don't want to make an EDH request, comment anyways. I like the feedback from you guys. Like to know what I'm doing right. And maybe give me some suggestions to make my videos better. Don't tell me what I'm doing wrong. At least not in, a negative way, just constructive. But you guys are good about that, and I don't need to be telling you what to do. But comment areas, I like feedback from you guys. Oh, and share this video along with other videos found on my channel with other people, so they can receive guidance in the building of their commander from yours truly. And with that said, leave a like and subscribe. We went from 74 to 72. Not a big deal. This is more of a hobby, but I do kind of have a hope that this turns into a full on job. I would like to do that for you guys, uh, for my fellow Magic the Gathering EDH players, and I can also do standard stuff too. If you want to start seeing some standard stuff, just let me know. Whether it's at for like home, or like tournament play, but I don't know the ban list, so probably be at home. But still, you guys in the comments, you can give me suggestions, and if you want something, just let me know. With enough said, let's get into this commander. I've organized this so it'll be a little quicker today. Bellicor, the Dark Master. So basic summary, we want to either have a lot of demons when this guy enters the battlefield, or have a lot of demons to play out to deal a lot of damage to anything that we can target that is to be dealt damage and that can die. What I've gone in and done is found like a good amount of some really good demon cards, demons that help us cast war demons, cards that help us do more damage. And we even got like some cards that can help stand in the game. So with that said, let's get this on with. And I mean, before you get into this, sure, you can build around the first line of text, but the second line of text is just so much better to build around. But anyways, as you saw, Rakdos Lord of Riots is one of the first cards on this list. High recommendation, because demons normally have really big power, or can get really big really fast. In this deck, you want demons that have high base power, and Rakdos Lord of Riots is one of them. I mean, double black and double red for 6/6 with flying and trample. Sure, you can't cast this unless your opponent has lost life this turn, but still, it's a good trade. Not to mention, for spells you cast cost less and less as you deal more damage to your opponents and as they lose more life within that turn. So, I would highly recommend Rakdos Lord of Riots because most demons today are rather mana expensive. Like Lord Xander the Collector, like 7 is a bit hefty. But with Lord of Riots, we can turn that into just a blue, black, and a red. And yes, this is a vampire demon noble. And this can really hurt someone when enters the battlefield. Because if we can force target opponent to discard half the cards in their hand, and if they need cards in their hand, that can be hurtful to their plan. But it's really when Lord Xander attacks, because when he does, the defending player mills half their library rounded down. So Lord Xander here can be a quick clock for someone. And when he dies, target opponent sacrifices half the non-land permanents they control rounded down. So devastating brutal card. Do you know if Dark Schemes is in here? In case of a board wipe. Although if we had this out and we played it, then of course Demon of Dark Schemes would die to the board wipe. But if we were to give this indestructible, they'll be able to stay around. In which case, if we're able to give it around after the dust has cleared, we can start just playing 2 generic and a black and 4 energy counters to reanimate our stuff. Not to mention, when this enters battlefield, all other creatures get -2/-2 on the turn, and that can really hurt everyone at it can hurt everyone at the table. Not really us, but especially token players if they're making 1/1 tokens. And if we give this flash, it can save us from death itself, depending on how big our opponent's creatures are. So Demon of Dark Schemes can do a multitude of things, and it's great for like after a board wipe if you're able to keep it on the field. Reaper from the Abyss. It's also Demon of Dark Schemes is great for like keeping our combo pieces. And it was Reaper from the Abyss. At the beginning of each end step, if a creature died on this turn, then we get to destroy target non-demon creature. And with Bellacor's ETB effect, being able to deal damage to any targets, we could simply point it at something that would be killed by that amount of damage, like a 1/1 being killed by like 6 damage from a demon that is entered the battlefield under our control, and then that'll count for Reaper from the Abyss for its end step trigger, so we'll be able to destroy something. So this can help us whittle down our opponent's board and also focus more on directing the damage that comes from the ETB effects of our commander in this deck towards our opponent's face, so we can be more aggressive. Nixilus the Fallen kind of takes it a different way. As we play more lands, we can focus kind of less on our opponent's life total and more on getting rid of their creatures with our enter the battlefield effects. Prince of Thralls is a high recommendation. You may not think it because Whenever an opponent controls is put into a graveyard, put that card into play under your control unless that opponent pays 3 life. Sure, against like mill decks, sacrifice decks, this is good, but like what about against decks that like don't do that? Well, you see, as our opponent gets lower and lower, they're more likely to put that card into play under our control rather than pay the 3 life whenever a opponent they control is put into their graveyard because they are our opponent. So there's like multiple ways we can go with this. We can use this as a way to more effectively whittle away at our opponent's board states by killing off their creatures, and if they don't want us to get to put those permanents that have been put into their graveyard onto the battlefield under our control from their graveyard, they're gonna have to pay 3 life. So as more and more non-token creatures die, as more we kill more, Prince of Thralls here is gonna keep hitting that opponent's life total. And if you direct the damage from Be'lakor to your opponent's face, then you can use that to get those permanents that will be put into your opponent's graveyard onto your battlefield. Because at some point, they won't be able to pay 3 life, because if they do, it'll cause them to just die outright. So Prince of Thralls is actually a good creature in this deck when you think about it. Not to mention it's the demon on its own. Balor has a great attack and death effect. Both do the same thing. The third option can really punish red-blue players if they're like drawing a bunch of cards like Locust God or Niv Mizzet decks. Can make target opponent sacrifice a non-token artifact. So Panharmonicon, Inspiring Statuary, dangerous non-token artifacts like that. Or target opponent draws 3 cards and then discards 3 cards at random. Sure, they may get like good cards from the 3 they draw, but they keep end up hurting more from the cards they discard because those cards contributed more to their plan than the cards that they drew with battle. Lord of the Void can help us get more creatures and quite possibly more demons onto our battlefield with its combat damage trigger. So why not? Gristlebrand can draw some cards. It has lifelink, and Be'lakor says whenever another demon enters the battlefield under your control, it deals damage equal to its power to any target. Not Be'lakor, the demon itself, which means Gristlebrand here is going to enter the battlefield, deal 7 damage, and because he has lifelink, we're going to gain 7 life. So we can use that 7 life we just gained to pay 7 life and draw 7 cards right away. So pretty useful. Master of Cruelties. This is a dangerous card. If your opponent doesn't block it, then they're going to be in a lot of trouble. Not to mention First Strike, Death Touch. Although it only attacks alone, first of all, ETB effect, because of Be'lakor, this will be dealing 1 Death Touch damage, so you can get rid of something that's really big that hopefully doesn't have indestructible. Like a World Spine Worm, or like or something that just doesn't have indestructible, like a really big Eldrazi, or something that could kill you if you let it live too long. Things like that. And your opponent will want to block this. So this is 1 more creature your opponent is forced to block. Well, this can only attack alone, but still, you can whittle away slowly at your opponent's board state. But not to mention, as you play more demons, that's more creatures you're going to end up killing and getting rid of on your opponent's side of the board. So eventually, what may end up happening is your opponent is completely open because you shot down all your creatures with Bellacor's ETB effect. And Master of Cruelty is just able to get in there, set your opponent's life total to 1, and then from there you just play another demon or something that deals damage when it enters the battlefield, and then that player is dead. Rakdos the Showstopper is a really one-sided board wipe because of the deck we're playing, because we only flip a coin for each creature that isn't a demon, devil, or imp, and then we destroy each creature whose coin comes up tails. This can be really unlucky, but not for us, because we are playing demons, so we are safe from this ETB effect. We do not have to worry about that board wipe. Some of the creatures in this deck aren't safe, but most of the creatures we're playing will be perfectly fine. Resurrect the Foul-Blooded can help us search for more cards. So like important cards that we may need for our engine. Not to mention he's a demon with flying and trample, and he's an 8/8. And all we have to do is pay 2 life to sacrifice another creature to search your library to tutor for our card, and then shuffle up. And that could be something like another demon that we may need, or like Rakdos Lord of Rights if we don't already have him out. Helm of the Host. What we can do is we can attach this to Be'lakor, start making multiple copies of him, and then whenever a demon enters our control, we're gonna get multiple ETB effects off of Be'lakor, and maybe even like other creatures we control or permanents we control. Well, mainly off of Be'lakor because Helm of the Host is copying it. But this can be used to multiply damage we deal whenever a demon enters battlefield under our control, or to guarantee we deal damage with Be'lakor at least once or more within a turn, because we just swing Helm of the Host. Actually, it does both because Be'lakor himself is a demon. However, his ETB effect could get you really close to death. So maybe like 3 copies, and then that's enough. Because if you have too many demons, you'll end up killing yourself off of Bellacor's first ETB effect, his own. But in this deck, it's a firefight, so you may have killed everyone else before you could kill yourself. Obnixilus Unshackled is a hardcore counter against aristocrat decks, and our opponents will now have to lose 10 life and sacrifice a creature whenever they search their library for something. So like tutoring for land or anything, they have to now pay 10 life and sacrifice a creature, which not only is whittling away at the board state, which allows us to focus more on their life total, but the 10 life is putting them a lot closer to death. So this can really shut someone down or kill them really quick, depending on how brave they are. Orca Siege Demon. Again, hardcore counter to aristocrat style decks. And if it dies, it deals damage equal to its power divided as you choose among any number of targets. So when this dies, we could just get rid of a whole bunch of 1/1s or 2/2s or something like that, or something really big and scary. Or we could just outright kill someone depending on how big it is. Sower of Discord can really speed up the clock, the death clock, I should say, for 2 players. That obviously won't be us. Because now with Sower of Discord, say we choose 2 of our guns, of course we're going to. Whenever damage is dealt to one of the chosen players, the other chosen player also loses that much life. So we're able to focus on 2 people at once with Sower of Discord, which is really nice. Reign of the Pit is a nice card because it forces everyone to sacrifice a creature, so it could get rid of something problematic on someone's board. However, they could just sacrifice a token. But each player sacrifices a creature. Then you create an XX black demon creature token with flying, where X is the total power to sacrifice creatures of the creature's sacrifice this way. So you can sacrifice something big and huge as long as it doesn't hurt you that much. Like maybe an Obnixilis or like a Rakdos Showstopper, like after ZTB effect. It's a flying trample 6/6, sure. Still good, but like not as useful as he was when he entered the battlefield. So you can sacrifice something like Rakdos, and at the bare minimum, you'd be getting like a 9/9, which is still pretty good, because that'll trigger off Bellacore, and you'll get damage out of it. Archfiend of Depravity is a hardcore counter to token decks because it because at each of our opponent's end steps, I should say, that player has to choose up to 2 target creatures they control, and then they sacrifice the rest. Woebringer Demon whittles away at our opponent's board state. Not as much as Archfiend of Depravity will, sure, but it still can keep our opponents intact and relatively annoyed. Orcus, Prince of Undeath, can just be used to get everything back from our graveyard and trigger off multiple Bellacore triggers, possibly killing all of our opponents at the table. If not getting really close to it, he can also be used as a board wipe, depending on how much we pump it to X. However, it's going to cost us some life. And if you don't have any way to gain back life, that could be epic. Dangerous, but still, with the second option, as you reanimate all those creatures, they don't enter in tapped and they gain haste, so you're able to swing at your opponents right away, even if they haven't already died from Bellacore's ETB effects. Shadowgrange Archfiend can gain us a bunch of life, and it has Madness. So if we were forced to discard it, we could just pay 2 generic and black, pay 8 life, and then we've got on our battlefield. Skursdag High Priest can get us a 5/5 each turn as long as something has died on that turn. Well, on our turn. Silent Blade Oni. A Ninjutsu Demon in this deck is pretty cool and very synergistic. Because what you could do is you could return an unblocked creature like hopefully Rakdos the Showstopper, so you can play him out again, possibly wipe the board. Not to mention when Silent Blade Oni deals combat damage to a player, you look at that player's hand, you may cast a non-land card in it without paying that card's mana cost, which means you could potentially get another demon or something even scarier. Like, well, Critter Hoof wouldn't be scary after the fact. Sure, it'd be a big creature, but maybe something like Emrakul, Itali, Primal Storm. You never know. Desecration Demon. Our opponents are gonna have to keep this thing fed, if you know what I mean. If they don't want us to be attacking them with it. And as they sacrifice more and more, we're able to more creatures. We're able to focus more and more on their life total directly with Bellacore's ETB effects. Roxahasa Debaser? I have no idea. When it attacks, we reanimate something. We put our creature card from defending player's graveyard onto the battlefield under our control. And this has an encore cost of 6 and double black, which means we exile this card from our graveyard, and then for each opponent we create a token that is a copy of this card, and they all gain haste and they're exiled at the beginning. Well, they're sacrificed at the beginning of the next end step, which means we could get 18 damage within one turn just by paying the encore cost of Rock Sasha alone. Not to mention what we'd be getting out of the 3 graveyards if this was like a 3-way, of course. Corridor, Dune Scourge, he essentially goads all of our opponent's stuff. So it gives us a bit of breathing room. Not to mention whenever an attacking creature dies, each opponent loses 1 life and we gain 1 life. So we've got some survivability. So we would definitely recommend this one. Revive Your Demon just kills everything when it enters the battlefield. If that creature is not, if it isn't black and it isn't an artifact, it's dead. And they can't be regenerated. Havoc Demon can give -5 to everything when it dies, so this can end up killing a lot of tokens. Flame Rush Rider can make can create tokens that are copies of another target attacking creature that we control and that token will be tapped and attacking. And we exile the token at the end of the combat, and this has a dash cost, which means we can play Flame Rush Rider for its dash cost, swing with it, create a token that's a copy of the demon we control, triggering Bellacore, and throw even more damage to our opponent's face. And then we have the attacking demon itself, so that could be a lot more damage on its own. Flame Shadow Conjuring can help us double up on our ETB effects by allowing us to create a token that's a copy of a non-token creature we control when it enters the battlefield, more specifically a demon. And all we just have to do is pay red, and then we've created a token that's a copy of that demon that we have just played out. So then we will trigger Bellacore again and deal more damage. Abaddon the Despoiler is a great card. Definitely recommend you play this. Highly recommend this. In fact, I highly recommend this as a commander and as a card in this deck because of how good it is. Because during your turn, spells you cast from your hand with mana value X or less, or converted mana cost, have Cascade, where X is the total amount of life your opponents have lost this turn. So we can just focus the damage that we get out of Bellacore onto our opponent's life totals. And as we're doing more and more damage, we'll get to Cascade with like more and more mana expensive stuff. So like eventually it'll be costing like we cast something that's like 7 CNC and cascade into something that's 6 CNC. And just go nuts completely. Terror of the Peaks allows us to run away with this even further, and just in general, it's basically another Bellacore, except it's just mono red, and our opponents have to pay some life in order to cast a spell to target Terror of the Peaks here. So it has a little protection built in. Fire Emancipation could just be game over automatically for one of our opponents. If we're able to keep Fire Emancipation and Bellacore out, we just play a demon, and instead of dealing like what we would normally deal, which say for this instance, we have 6/6 demon at about the 9-hour control. Bellacore normally would deal 6 damage to any targets. Now with Fire Emancipation, it suddenly turns into 18. Well, actually, the demon itself that enters the battlefield is dealing 18 damage. Just a form for later down the line. Haunted One is the background for 2 generic and black. Commander creatures you own have, whenever this creature becomes tapped, it and other creatures you control that share a creature type with it each get +2/+0 and gain Undying until in turn. So all of our demons, whenever our commander becomes tapped, get +2/+0 And our commander itself gets +2/+0 as well. And also, all creatures that would share a creature type with Be'lakor, the Dark Master, along with the +2/+0 gain Undying, which means if they were to die and they had no +2/+0 counters on them, they come back with a +2/+0 counter, triggering off Be'lakor once again, dealing a bunch more damage. Lithium Form Engine allows us to copy up on our triggered abilities, so double up on our first Be'lakor ETB effect. We can copy an instant sorcerer spell, but we're not really going to do that. Or for 4, we can tap and copy target permanent spell we control. So double up on the first demon or permanent spell in general we cast, which can really get out of hand fast. Something like, not really sneak attack, but still highly recommend sneak attack, because now all you have to do is pay a red to get like what may be a 9/9 demon out onto the field. And sneak attack here is only 4 mana. Sure, you sacrifice the creature that you cheated out with sneak attack at the beginning of the next end step, but that creature that you cheat out also gains haste, and this is only for 1 red mana. So would highly recommend, due to how mana expensive demons normally are. The good ones, which all demons are good. All demon cards are normally good cards, except when they're not. Moving on, Mikaeus the Unhallowed. Now we kind of move away from like demon tribal, and now into like, well, actually we're kind of still are in demon tribal, just more of like away from like immediate demon tribals, like cards that are like directly focused around demons. But Mikaeus the Unhallowed here gives other non-human creatures we control +1/+1 and Undying, and it's a hardcore counter to human decks, because whenever human deals damage to us, it is destroyed unless it has an indestructible force. And then to combo with that, we have Flare of the Hatebound with Undying as well. And Flare of the Hatebound says, whenever it or another creature enters the battlefield from your graveyard, that creature deals damage equal to its power to any target. So now we're getting more damage. Shared Animosity can buff up our creatures whenever they attack. They'll get +1/+0 until in turn for each other creature, each other attacking creature that shares a creature type with it that we control. Sunbird's Invocation help us cast more demon spells within a turn, deal more damage to Be'lakor, get our opponents closer to death. Warstorm Surge, same thing. Stalking Vengeance is great for a board wipe because it could just end up killing someone. Electropotence get more damage off to a creature or a player, so we won't be able to target players. Not players, planeswalkers with Electropotence, but still, it doesn't matter at the end of the day because this is a firefight deck, not a what should we kill deck. Although it can be. In the Web of War, so give our demons haste, make it less likely that our opponents survive throughout the turns. Berserkers Onslaught for double strike. Blade of Selves is great because the equipped creature has Myriad. So whenever the equipped creature attacks, since it has Myriad, for each opponent we have decides the defending player that we are currently attacking with the original creature. We create a token that's a copy of that creature, and they attack those different players. So in a 4-way, we could get 2 more. We could get 2 copies of a demon that is equipped with Blade of Selves, and get 2 more ETB effects off of Be'lakor, the Dark Master. Toru Umezawa is in here because of his second line of text, giving each creature card in our hand ninjutsu of 2 generic, a blue and a black, making our demons way easier to get out onto the battlefield. because our demons have flying, which is a great form of evasion, and more likely than anything, our opponent will not be able to block at least like one of our demons. So we'll be able to ninjutsu a demon from our hand uh, for just 2 generic and a blue and a black, get off another Bellacore trigger, and deal more damage. And we could also trade a demon out for like an even stronger demon, I should say, or use ninjutsu to like return something like Rakdos the Showstopper to our hand, so we can play it again and possibly wipe everyone's board except for ours for the most part. Aspiring Champion. When it deals combat damage to a player, you sacrifice it. And if you do, you reveal cards to the top of your library until you reveal creature cards. The card onto the battlefield, then shuffle the rest into your library. If that creature is a demon, it deals damage equal to its power to each opponent. Not to any target, to each opponent. So this can also be really a big owl for our opponents. Then we've got Raphael, Fiendish Savior, as our last cards to give demons, devils, imps, and tieflings we control +1/+1, but also lifelink. So now we're able to stay in the game. And it can create us 1/1 red devil creature tokens with death triggers. Spinerock Knoll is in here because of Hideaway and because we're in red, and with the type of deck we're playing, we're going to be able to hit one of our opponents for 7 more damage within a turn. So Hideaway will be an easy activation. Nykthos, Shrine to Nyx, and can help us cast more of our demons, because you'll notice, if you have noticed in the mana cost of most demons in Magic the Gathering, it normally would include like 2 of a color or like all 3 in some cases. So by playing this, we're able to have a lot of mana, because the demons as we play out more demons, we're contributing a good amount more to our devotion to like other colors. Because like most demons are either double black or like double red or like red blue black in some cases. They've got like more than one mana symbol of a color in most cases in their mana cards. And with that said, we've got 16 basic mountains, 16 basic swamps, and 16 basic islands. And with that said, the end of this commander guide starring Bellacore, the Dark Master. Now, I would have done something that was from Dominaria United, but I've covered most of the really powerful cards. Sure, all the other cards are really powerful, but like the ones I've covered are like the most powerful of them. But if you want to see like cards from Dominaria United or the Dominaria United Commander set, just let me know by making an EDH request, and I'll get straight to it. I have no problem with that at all. Just don't make the commander like a really hard one to build, because like there are some commanders out there that are like impossible to build around almost. But that's no trouble. But anyways, so like I said, if you want to see more Dominaria United stuff that like I haven't already covered, just let me know by making the EDH request. Or if you want to see a commander that hasn't already been featured on this channel in general, make an EDH request. If you want to see like a certain style of a deck for a commander that has already been featured on this channel, that can still be done, because because most of the time when I'm building a commander, I tend to go one way, not like Voltron or enchantments or something. not like a specific way you may want to see. So like Rambless enchantments that could count as an EDH request, like straight up requesting Rambless. First of all, I would not have any idea to do what to do with Rambless, like where to start, because there's so many ways you can go with that thing. You wouldn't believe. But so like just point me in the direction Rambless enchantments. It's no big trouble. And also first come first serve, so get to the comments if you want to make your request, if you want to see it featured first on this channel. With that aside, leave a like and subscribe. I want to get back to 74 and even get above 74 and keep going. I'd actually like to have this be a full-time job for me. I would not mind. This is a hobby for me for now, but you guys can instantly change that. You have the power to. If you guys want to see some more like MTGA stuff, just let me know in the comments. I may just do like short video, short like 2 or 3 minute videos, like the last one, like the one I posted recently. Unlike the ones where they were like an hour long, is just boring. I'll just get like straight to the good stuff and record the highlight. So yeah, and also if you want, I can start making standard decks. Because in MTGA, I've been playing a deck that's just been breaking the game, so I'm trying to switch to a deck. So you can also make requests for standard as well. But with all that aside, even if you don't want to do make any of those sorts of requests, comment anyways. I like the feedback from you guys. Sorry if this is taking too long. I'll try and cut it here shortly. But I like to see feedback from you guys. Positive support really means something to me. Share this video along with other videos found on my channel with other people so they can receive guidance when building those commander decks from yours truly. And hit the notification bell, that way you don't miss another video of mine. And go watch my other videos. And I think with that said, that is it. I will see you tomorrow.